Mm. Welcome, guys. Just type #tarot if you want a free reading. There is no one else in the queue just yet. Happy, welcome. Thank you for your question. That adds you to the queue. General reading. Amazing. Do you search for tarot readings often, Happy? That you, I don't know. I've seen that a lot of tarot readers and diviners, they need you to give them your name or your birth date or something like that. But the truth is that those are self-limiting beliefs. You don't actually need those things to give a reading. The fact that you're viewing the screen, that you're seeing the same things I'm seeing, the fact that your name's here in the chat, that's enough to make a connection, you know? When I'm casting spells, I do ask for the birth date, and that's just so that I can know what the client's element is. And I don't need to know the year, just the date and the month, so that I know which zodiac sign they're born under. Welcome, Ms. Charita. Welcome back. Of course you can get a general reading. Yep, you're the first viewer on YouTube. We've got a viewer on Twitch. Happy. Oh, thanks, Happy. I don't actually need it, but thanks. So let me show you what the birth date is necessary for, what the birth date can do. So you're the type who has fears of responsibility. When you do have responsibilities, you stress until you get them complete. It's like you can't do anything except make sure those responsibilities are complete. But for that reason, because you're so intense about responsibility, it's something that you're afraid of as well. When people ask you to do things, or when responsibility gets on your plate, it's terrifying. It suddenly causes all this anxiety, and the way you cope with that anxiety is you start focusing on fulfilling that responsibility. A suggestion that your date, that intuitively I can get from your date of birth, is focus on your own harvest. So the things that you plant, the seeds you plant, the investments you make, focus on reaping the rewards of that and sowing your own harvest, rather than taking on other people's responsibilities or things people ask of you. In other words, don't ever people please. Focus on yourself first. If you've got room to be flexible and allow other responsibilities in, then allow it. But you don't automatically have to say yes when someone asks a favor. And there's something that's been hidden from you, something that you've been unaware of. Is structure. how valuable structure can be to you. If you had like a list of responsibilities, if you put your responsibilities into an order, into a structure, like according to what's most important, your own responsibilities being of highest importance, and then working on those tasks according to that responsibility. That was just a demonstration of what can be divined based on someone's birth date. That was for happy. Before I light that, let me lay you a spread, because happy, you're the first one here, the first one to make a request, and then we had Charita after you, and Shilpa after that. Oh wait, Suhan first. Suhan Sai first asked for a general reading for Arjun's career, and then Shilpa joins saying #tarot. Welcome, Rajni. So what general advice does the universe have for happy? What opportunities exist in his present that he could seize? So what is the time for you, Charita? Where you are? For me, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm a bit late today, an hour late. Well, maybe an hour and a half late. Anyway, happy. Your past interval here is the 5 of Wands reversed. So this is something that you've come through already. Something that's closing now. And 5 talks about applying yourself and your resources to their maximum potential. But the card is reversed. So it's indicating to me that you had desires and you set intentions to accomplish those desires and to apply yourself to get there. But you tried to step too far ahead. You tried to reach further than what your technology and your knowledge could carry you. I don't know what your desires were. We all have unique desires. So it's just talking about desire in general, what you desire from life. So you reached for that, but you tried to get further than what your technology and your finances and your knowledge and experiences could actually carry you. So you kind of felt like you were going 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. So you didn't feel like you were actually getting anywhere. But that's coming to a close, and the advice that card has to give to you, the reason it's showing up here is just to say to you, in the future, when you are ready to apply yourself to your maximum, you don't have to jump too far into the future. You can step in small steps. You can take small steps. And that is, yeah, it doesn't matter how small your steps are. As long as one foot's going in front of the other, you're going to get to your destination. So in this kind of case, when your resources are limited and your knowledge is limited, then taking smaller steps is better, because if you try and take steps that are too big, you can end up going backwards or meet with a lot of resistance and end up very frustrated about everything. So your present interval here is the Prince of Discs. He's also reversed. So Discs is all about your physical world, so that's to do with your health and your fitness and your finances, your home space, the physical security of your home space. And the Prince energy is kind of like facing challenges that you were not ready to face in the past, because they come with suffering, they come with difficulty and struggle. So this is saying that in the present you are getting ready, or you are choosing to face the things that you haven't been ready to face in the past, and that is to do with your health and your fitness and your finances. So there are certain aspects of your working life, of your career life, that are difficult for you to keep up with because of perhaps a lack of fitness or struggling with eating disorder. So this card is it's showing me that in the present moment you're looking at the things that you struggle with regarding your finances, and you're seeing, okay, there are challenges here and here that I've been neglecting to face because it's difficult for me, but it's time that I face it. So you're acknowledging where you have to actually step into facing the challenges, and the card wants to tell you, keep pushing through. Once you face those challenges, when you allow them to come into your present and you feel them and you face them, have endurance and push through, because you will find your breakthrough. Don't give up, in other words. Now I just want to say warm welcome to Queen Matrixie. Please do not spam my chat. spamming my chat will result in an immediate and effective ban. So yeah, please don't do it. Just getting ready to ban and block Queen Matrixie in case she doesn't listen and doesn't respect the order of the stream. Okay, so your future interval, happy, happy. This is the 9 of Cups. So 9 of Cups talks about reflecting on your emotions and the way that you interacted with your emotions. There are a few things that this card is saying, but this is what's about to open up for you. This is what your next couple of weeks look like. All kinds of emotional experiences, they're going to be welling up into their fullness because of the challenges you're facing in the present. As you keep going through that and you keep having endurance towards it, like if it's to do with diet, then we go through withdrawal. You know, food is as much an addiction as anything else, so we all are addicted to food because how the hell can we survive without it? But if you change your diet, the things that you're used to eating, you start to get withdrawal from them, and that comes as an emotional experience. So this card is saying that what's about to open up is that there's going to be emotional experiences that are going to be welling up, both positive experiences and negative experiences. So if it's to do with fitness and you're working out, there's going to be difficult emotions to deal with while exercising, but then when you complete it, there's going to be influx of positive emotion, and they call that serotonin. It's a chemical that exercise releases in the brain. So basically this card is just warning you about influx of positive and difficult emotions, and it wants you to reflect on the past, where the ways that you've dealt with those kind of emotions in the past. How has it been? How have you reacted healthily to your emotional experience, and how have you reacted negatively? So reflecting on the past and saying, okay, where have you allowed emotions to sabotage your decisions? So you make a decision to change the way you eat, or you make a decision to change the way you work, or make a decision to start an exercise routine, and then the emotional influxes that come with that, how have you allowed that to impact your decision? Have you allowed it to derail the process? The card wants you to reflect on past experiences with these kinds of emotions so that you don't repeat past mistakes, and then also acknowledging in the past where you did well with the emotional experience. So when did you choose to do something that was still constructive or healthy as a result of either a positive or negative experience? Instead of doing something negative out of an emotional experience, where did you do positive things? Noticing that as well, so you can reapply those methods in the future. As you're going forward, you can avoid repeating mistakes from the past, and you can apply your successes. You can do the constructive things and the healthy things that you did in the past as well. And that concludes your reading, Happy. So yeah, thank you very much. Please like this video and share it. And if you are not already following me, please feel free to hit that follow button, and you'll get notifications when I go live in the future. And then I also want to say a big thank you to Queen Matrixie for not spamming the chat, for respecting my request not to spam. I am very much appreciative of that. Next in the queue is Miss Charita. You're welcome, Happy, and thank you. Jelena, welcome back. It's nice to see you in the chat. And yes, thank you. I've actually been really inspired and motivated by all of the positive feedback I got, and all the emotional support I got from all of you guys, from everyone. And yeah, I got offered some tarot readings, actually various readings, tarot, oracle, as well as a Reiki session, healing session. So I definitely felt something shift through both of those when I got those readings. Something shifted. I felt something shift. So I was feeling these like waves of very unhealthy energy coming from my heart, and that's why I canceled the healing stream, because I was like, I summon up a positive energy that comes from my heart, and now I'm getting these like spillovers of negative energy. I can't allow that to spill on the people I'm trying to heal. But then with that reading, something shifted, and in that moment where I heard what was being said, I felt that negative energy shifted into a positive energy. I still felt cuck for that day, for the rest of that day and the day after, but then I got that Reiki healing session, and during that session there were moments where I felt like electricity all over my whole body, and at some point there was like burning at the back of my neck, and so I felt like the electrical energy was what was being channeled to me. That was the Reiki energy, and it was pushing on blockages, and that's what this burning was. It was the blockages passing through, and yeah, the river opening up again. Since then I've been feeling a lot better. Okay, so Miss Charita is next. Thank you for the like, Suhana. What general advice does the universe and its spirits have for Charita? What opportunities exist in her present that she could be seizing? Okay, so the past interval here is the 8 of discs. It's reversed. So this card is just talking about going through some shifts in your physical environment. That's pretty recent. That's this month and the end of last month. So it's a reverse card. It indicates that it wasn't necessarily something that you would have chosen of your own accord. The necessity to make those shifts, so that could be to do with well, what that is to do with is the people that you're surrounding yourself with, your physical security, how much time you spend in the company of the people that you share your space with, as well as what kind of medication you're taking, and what kind of food you're eating, and if there are any addictions, any drugs involved, like smoking or drinking, having to make shifts in all of those things. And it wasn't something you would have chosen of your own accord. It was something that you realized was necessary. The universe didn't really give you a choice. I'm sure that this is specifically to do with your pregnancy, that I don't know if you ever terminated that pregnancy or if you're still going through with it, but even in the case that you're still going through with it, then I'd imagine that's talking about cutting certain things out of your diet because of the pregnancy, having to make shifts so that you can be more balanced and more healthy for the sake of your child. Present interval is a 7 of Wands. 7 of Swords, actually, sorry, my mistake. So this talks about responsibility. You're choosing or making, like, recognizing what is of most priority when it comes to your responsibilities, the responsibilities that you have. You have something that you want for yourself and your life and your child, and so you are looking to take action towards making that reality, and with that comes responsibility. To uphold that outcome is a responsibility. So you're looking at what is the order of priority according to this outcome. What are the most important responsibilities I have? You're identifying all of those things, acknowledging what is the priority, what needs to be accomplished first, what needs most attention, basically, regarding your child, regarding you, and your life collectively, when it comes to this outcome that you're creating, this future that you want to manifest. So that will also look like having to make certain decisions. You're rearranging priorities, so old priorities will have to, there'll be decisions about what needs to be cut out, what can't fit on the list anymore because of time and resources. And then communicating that, speaking about that with the people in your space. If they've been depending on you for things and now you realize that is not as high of a responsibility as something else that's come, it's been replaced, then having to communicate those kinds of things. And all of this is what's going on in your present. The only advice that this card has for you is that it would be detrimental to change course now. Like once you've chosen, you're busy choosing what your responsibilities are, what your outcome is, and so to make a change to that would be irresponsible. The card is all about responsibility, so now you've chosen these things, stick to them. Stay on the road you've chosen to travel on. If you're changing, it's irresponsible. You end up going back to the starting point and you have to start from scratch with whatever it is that you're going to do. So that's the advice that card has. Whatever you're choosing now in the present, whatever responsibilities you're setting, stick to it. And then it wants to also encourage you flexibility, like there will always be unforeseen events and circumstances that come in that prevent us from fulfilling things on our list of our to-do list. And in that case, just identify what is most important according to the things you had to accomplish in that day, and then just be flexible with it, move it around. You might have said, I have to do my self-care routine at this specific time, but now there's unforeseen circumstance that makes that impossible, so deal with whatever that unforeseen event is and then just move that priority somewhere else. And yeah, future interval. Future interval is the ace of, it's not the ace. Whenever I see number 1, I think ace, but it's just number 1 of the trumps, the mages, and he's reversed here. So the mage is reversed. It talks about miscommunication. So what is opening up for you is possibility of deceit, of people around you being deceitful. And so the card wants you to have a look at yourself going forward, that you're not being deceitful about anything, that you're not miscommunicating or being dishonest about anything, because if you are, then you attract that kind of frequency. So also just to be aware that the people, it won't be everybody in your space, but there will be specific people and they will give off hints that they're not being entirely honest. So the card wants to just bring that to your attention, that there might be certain people that you regularly have to interact with who are not going to be entirely honest. And then another piece of advice that this card has is discernment, knowing who to be completely vulnerable with and who to withhold information from. So if you know somebody, then you will either know based on your interactions with them whether or not they are trustworthy. If you know someone is trustworthy, it's wise to be vulnerable with them. If you know someone is untrustworthy, it's wise to keep information to yourself. And then, yeah, also judging on character. If you meet new people and they're asking you things, it's wise also to be wary of how much information you divulge regarding yourself and your life and what it is you're trying to do and accomplish for yourself. So the discernment is necessary because you could keep everything to yourself or you could be completely open, but there are certain people who would want to work against you. There are also certain people who would want to support you. So that's why the discernment is necessary, to trust people and be vulnerable with people that you trust, that you know are trustworthy, because you might find that among those people there are those who want to support you in your dream and your outcome. And then if you know someone is untrustworthy, to not be vulnerable with them, because you know that they will betray you, they will gossip, they will take action to sabotage whatever it is you've told them. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much for joining me. Please like the video, and yeah, thank you. And I want to say welcome to Simone Copeland, who wants a love reading. Thank you for your question. That adds you to the queue. So Angelina also says, I'm so glad that you are better. Nice to hear your calming voice. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for checking in and for joining me today and supporting the stream. Next in the queue is Suhana, general reading for Arjun's career. Thank you for your question, Shilpa. You typed hashtag tarot right after Sahana made her request, so Sahana is getting this reading and you're after that. Thank you for clarifying your question. What general advice does the universe have regarding Arjun's career? Okay. Don't want to scare you with that card, so I'm going to write this before I show it to you. So your past interval card is number 15 of the trumps. It's called the Devil. Now you understand why I didn't want to show you this without context. So this card doesn't talk about like Satan or some unseen evil force in the sky. It just talks about adversity in one's life. So this question is regarding career. So it talks about adversity and struggle within career and within financial life. This coming from clients, this coming from bosses, this coming from the workplace, co-workers. So with Arjun, whatever he was doing, he wasn't receiving recognition from people in the places that could have given him promotions or raises. He wasn't receiving recognition because he was being slandered by his co-workers, gossiping. There was a lot of gossiping going on, and basically everyone was intimidated by how well he was doing or the potential that he had to succeed. So they were trying to make themselves out to seem better, trying to make him seem small and themselves big. So that's something that's coming to a close. He pushed through. He was willing to defend himself and his position, but he also wasn't gonna retaliate in the way of like make himself out to be bigger. He wasn't insecure in his identity, so he didn't try and badmouth anyone. He didn't do what they were doing. He didn't stoop to their level. Instead, he was like, "This is how I see it. This is how it actually is," and yeah, I'm just gonna continue working the way I have been, and you guys, you can mind your own business. Whatever it is that you want to do, say about me, go ahead. And yeah, so that is healthy, and that is what is leading to the closing of this period, and he will start receiving the recognition that he deserves. In the present moment, we have a 9 of Cups for Arjun. So this talks about feeling well-ups of emotion. Some of those emotions are positive, some of them are negative. So because of this adversity he's been facing, the positive emotions he's been experiencing are things like determination and zealousy. And on the other end of the spectrum, the difficult emotions he's been feeling is things like despair and hopelessness, like feeling like it doesn't matter how hard he works or how smart he works or how well he does. Everyone around him wants to make sure that he fails, and he feels like he doesn't really have a foot to stand on, that he's not going to be able to overcome that. But at the same time, he's also feeling things like determination, like fuck those guys. If I work hard and I work smart and I just stick to what I have been doing, I will make breakthrough. So he's reflecting on all of that. He's reflecting on how he dealt with these emotions in the past, when he's faced similar situations in the past. He's remembering times where he allowed adversity to get to him, and gossip and slander, where he allowed that to distract him from his work, and he's remembering how that sabotaged him. And he's remembering other times when he did well, when there was slander or when there was gossip, he allowed his actions to speak for him. And he's noticing the breakthroughs that he made because of that, focusing on himself and his work rather than focusing on what people are saying. And this self-reflection is also healthy. It allows him to avoid making the same kind of mistakes in the past, avoid allowing their words to get to him, and also to reapply his methods that were successful. So he knows that focusing on what he's doing and allowing his actions to speak for him will result in a breakthrough. So he's reflecting in order to learn from his past. Future interval is number 6 of the trumps. It is reversed. It's called the Lovers. So this is what's about to open up for him. And this has a twofold meaning. First of all, it's talking about your relationship to him. That because of the financial strain, what's about to open up is some strain on the relationship as a result. But it is not unhealthy. It's not going to result in a collapse of the relationship. All it's going to do, that strain that's coming onto the relationship, it'll be a little bit turbulent, but in the resolution of it, you guys will be tighter. You'll be closer together and stronger. Basically, you are going to make him aware of his limitations, and he's going to make you aware of your limitations, and it's not going to be easy for you to recognize your limits and where you could be doing better. So that is going to create a clash, as one might find a tendency to blame the other one for their limits. But in the resolution of that, as you become aware of your limitations, he's also going to give you advice, and he's going to be an example that will allow you to overcome your limitations, and vice versa. You're going to be an example and going to give advice that will allow him to overcome his previous limits. And more than that, the other meaning of this is that he's going to form a new connection, whether that's in the workplace or outside of the workplace. He's going to meet someone, or maybe it'll be someone he already knows, but he's going to connect with them, and through that connection he's going to again learn from their example and learn from their advice, and it'll give him a better standing regarding his career, and at the same time he will give them a better standing regarding their career. And so yeah, that concludes your reading. So thank you for joining, and thank you for the like, and thank you for your recurring support in your viewage and your subscription. Next up is Shilpa. Before I draw that spread for Shilpa, I want to say welcome to Lauren Mayfield on Facebook. Your question adds you to the queue automatically, so thank you very much for that. I see you sending good vibes my way. Thank you so much, very much appreciated. Is there anything the universe wants me to know? We will get to your question. I go in an order of first come, first serve. And I'm across multiple platforms, across 3 platforms. That is Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, actually, and YouTube. So it's 4 platforms. My mistake. Yeah, my Twitter platform is actually really small, so I very seldom get any kind of interaction from Twitter. In the future, that will probably change. And then Doreen. Welcome to Doreen, also on Facebook. Doreen Furukawa. Will my Virgo man open up to me? Thanks in advance. So Doreen, your question added to the queue, so you are in that queue. Thank you very much for your question. Random person types hashtag tarot. Am I on the right path? Amazing. Again, thank you for your question. It adds you to the queue automatically. And then we have a Zunera Javid, also on Facebook. So Zunera, in order to join the queue, you can type hashtag tarot followed by your question, and that will get you into the queue automatically. Without your question, you won't be in the queue. So the sooner you ask that question, the sooner you're in the queue. And then welcome Kathy Seal, and again, same to you. To join the queue, type hashtag tarot with your question. And Sahu says, hi, can I know my future husband's personality? Amazing, your question added to the queue. Welcome back, Sahu, excuse me. Welcome back, Sahu. It's good to see you again. And Mary Heaven, asking for a reading, please type hashtag tarot with your question. That will add you to the queue. Okay, amazing. Mary Evans says, will I find romance? Your question adds you to the queue, so thank you. Next up for a reading is Shilpa on YouTube. Confirming what your question was. So Shilpa says, should I move on or wait on Manohar? What is the universe saying? Okay. On behalf of Shilpa, should she move on or wait for Manohar? So the universe is saying to you that you've already made your decision and that you should stick to your decision. This is the Seven of Swords in the position of your past, so it's saying that you've already quite recently decided what your outcome looks like. You visualize it and you start taking action towards it. So yeah, it's only saying to you that you should stick. That card is saying you should stick to what you've already chosen. If you choose a new outcome now, you start over. Present interval is the Five of Swords. So this card is saying that in the present moment you are reaching too far with your knowledge and your resources. So you are applying yourself. You are making efforts to accomplish what you desire, what your purpose is, what you believe purpose is, the purpose you've set for yourself. Purpose is actually something you choose. So you are working towards it, but you're reaching a little bit further than what you were able to accomplish with your resources and your knowledge. So this card wants to say to you, take smaller steps. If you try and reach too far, you're only going to find frustration. It's going to be like taking one step forward and then going 2 steps back. So take smaller steps. It doesn't matter how small your steps are, as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're going to get to your outcome. Taking smaller steps is what this card is saying. Future interval is the Six of Swords, and this card is saying that your partner, Manohar, can help you get towards your outcome if you interact with him. And there are also other people, other connections that you have, people that are close to you, and you can communicate with them and interact with them. You can follow their example, and it can help you get past these limitations. So you have limitations on your knowledge and your resources, and so interacting with Manohar, interacting with your other connections can help you overcome your limits. That you can talk about your own experiences and the things you know and the things you can share your resources, books that you have, perhaps technology. You can allow other people to use it. You can lend money or give it away if you have. And by doing that, you give other people the opportunity to overcome their limits, and at the same time, the other people that you are helping will also help you. We help others to help ourselves. So yeah, basically the overview of this reading is you've already chosen where you're going, so stick to what you've chosen, and take smaller steps towards your outcome, because if you're taking the steps you're currently trying to take are too big and it's only going to lead to frustration, don't look over the horizon. Don't try and look over the horizon. Just look at what you can see in front of you, and then interact with the people that are in your life, the people that are close to you, including Manohar. Talk to them about how you're feeling. Talk to them about what you're doing with your life, what your outcome looks like and what you hope for, and be prepared to share your resources if you expect others to be prepared to share their resources with you. And that is your reading concluded. So once again, thank you for joining. Thank you for your likes and your subscribe, and wishing you abundance and the manifestation of what it is you're working towards. Amen. Next in the queue is Rajni Yadav for a career reading. So Rajni, let me know if you're still here. Waiting for Rajni to confirm. After Rajni is Simone Copeland on Facebook asking for a love reading. So Simone, if you're here, let me know, because it doesn't seem to be that Rajni is still here. Simone Copeland, calling for Simone Copeland on Facebook. Welcome Xavi Orplish on Facebook. I am doing well, thank you for asking. Doing much better than I was the last couple of days. I hope the same applies to you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so Simone is not here. We're moving on to Lauren Mayfield. Lauren Mayfield asked, is there anything the universe wants me to know? So Lauren Mayfield on Facebook, if you're here, please let me know. You're up next. Calling Lauren Mayfield. Thank you for confirming that you are still here, random person. Lauren Mayfield is here. Cool. What would the universe and the spirits of the universe like for Lauren to be made aware of? Before I turn these cards over, I just want to say to my audience, if you guys like what I'm doing here, please feel free to support me by sending a tip or a donation. You can like and share this video. You can check me out on my other platforms and give me likes and shares and follows. Much appreciated. Thank you guys. Something that I'm planning is to get another camera that I can put over here, hang from the ceiling, so you guys can see the cards at the same time in the corner of the video. So, Lauren, your past interval is the 3 of Cups. This talks about becoming aware of what your outcome is regarding your emotions. Cups is to do with emotions. So what the universe is saying with this card is that something you haven't noticed really is how much you have become aware of already in your own emotional being. You're like looking past it, you're looking at what do I need to see, but you've actually become aware of so much already. The universe has revealed to you what you'd like to accomplish in your emotional state. You'd like to be free of things like fear and shame and guilt, and frustration. You want to be free of those things, and you've identified a practice or a means that you can actually start working on in your daily life that will bring you to that outcome where you can be emotionally fulfilled. Noticing what it is that you want for your emotional state and what is required, what kind of changes are required in order to get there. So your present interval, Lauren, is the Four of Cups reversed. And this is in the present. The universe is saying to you, take notice of your emotional being. Like over there we saw what you wanted to accomplish in the present. Notice if you are allowing your emotions to rule yourself in the present, or if you're ruling your emotions. Notice that. Because this card reverse is saying that you have a tendency to react to emotions rather than applying authority over them. Allowing emotions to dictate your course of action instead of dictating your own course of action. So then you feel fear, you run away. You feel shame, you shut yourself off from people around you. You feel frustration, you do something spiteful. And that is detrimental to your own reality. It's detrimental to your relationships. It's detrimental to whatever purpose you're setting, whatever kind of goals you're working towards. Every time you react to a negative emotion in a negative way, you sabotage that outcome. So what you can do instead is notice the emotion, say, yes, I'm feeling this and it's telling me to do something, but I'm going to do something constructive instead. I'm going to do something positive or creative. I'm going to say something supportive or constructive, regardless of how the situation is making me feel. Future interval is the Six of Cups. So this, what the universe is trying to make you aware of right now, is all to do with your emotional being. What's about to open up for you is connection. So this is to do with people you are already connected with, people you have deep connections with. It's also saying that you're going to be making new deep connections with people that you've just met, people that you haven't been so connected with. You're going to suddenly form connections, and through these connections you're going to learn how to evolve the way that you interact with your emotions. You're going to evolve into a healthier state of emotions, healthier state of emotional being. Over here, where you became aware of what you'd actually like for yourself, you're going to see yourself stepping towards that, moving closer into that outcome through these connections. You're going to learn from them, and they're going to learn from you. But firstly, they're going to make you aware of your limitations and shortcomings within your emotional being, and that's going to be difficult to accept. And at the same time, you're going to make them aware of their limitations, and that's going to be difficult for them to accept. So there might be some rocky waters there in the relationships you already have and in new connections. But in the resolution of that, you both parties, all parties involved, are going to be in a healthier state of being, are going to have evolved past those limitations. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much for joining me. Please like and share and follow. Thank you very much. Also welcome to send a tip, but that is optional. During the 2-hour free readings, tips are optional. It's only when this timer reaches 0, and then things become gratuity based from there on out. Readings become gratuity based, but until then, readings are free. Next up is Doreen. Will my Virgo man open up to me? Thank you in advance. So Doreen on Facebook, if you're still here, you're up next. Please let me know. And then I see Tweety has joined us on YouTube, and Sorav has joined us on Facebook, and Jelena is asking a question. Jelena says, if you would have time in the live, let me know, did my ex give up on us as he told me something this afternoon, but only if you have time. So Jelena, the way it works is that I give away free readings according to yeah, first come, first serve. So your question adds you to the queue. Once the queue closes, once everyone else is done, then it becomes a gratuity base, and I ask for a donation in return for reading. So we'll see if we get to you. I'm sure we will. A lot of people leave the chat before they get their question answered. And Treaty says, I hope you're doing better. I switched to your YouTube because it has a quality selection. Amazing. So thank you for joining me and supporting me on YouTube as well as on Twitch, Tweety. Much appreciated. And Sora, I've asked for a future reading, so that adds you to the queue. Welcome, Maria Joy. Thank you for joining us and supporting my stream today. Please refrain from spamming my chat. Spamming my chat will result in an immediate and effective ban, so please don't do it. Thank you. So I see Doreen has left. Up after Doreen was Random Person on YouTube, asking, am I on the right path? Welcome, Samana. In order to join the queue, you type #tarot followed by your question, and that'll add you to the queue automatically. Please get that question in as soon as possible so you can join the queue as soon as possible. Cool, Random Person says I'm here. On behalf of the one referred to as a random person, is he or she on the right path? Welcome, Honor, who's asking me, can you play a video on YouTube like a melody? Not sure what you're referring to. I know there's some interference coming from next door. People listening to music and not being considerate of my stream. And I do have a background track, Adrian von Ziegler's music, which is free to use, and I did ask and request permission from him in addition. He says in all of his videos that we are free to use his music, but I still did request permission anyway. I'm not going to type Dream Seed Alien Intercision. Random Person, your past interval is the 9 of Wands. So this talks about reflecting on your desires and your intentions. Having a look at, this is a past interval card, so something that's coming to a close now. This period of self-reflection is coming to a close, and I just want to mention that the period of self-reflection is right before manifestation. So it's the last stage before you step into what it was that you desired and what you intended for yourself. So right now well, not right now, but recently you've been reflecting on what it is you desire and the intentions you set to accomplish that desire. And the point of this reflection was to identify where you had unhealthy, self-serving intentions and where you had selfless, healthy intentions. And this is a healthy thing to do. It's a good thing to do, this self-reflection. You can take, as a result, you can take responsibility for your negative intentions, and you can take responsibility for your positive intentions. And the benefits of this is that you will avoid making the same mistakes in the future. You will avoid setting unhealthy intentions, because as we know, anything you send out into the universe will come back to you at some point. Everything you plant, it'll grow into something and you'll reap its harvest, whether it's a healthy harvest or a toxic harvest. Depends on the intention it was planted with. And then again, you'll be able to reapply your methods for success and growth and positivity, because you're accepting and taking responsibility for your healthy intentions. In the present, we have a Seven of Swords, so this is talking to me about making decisions about where you're going. So you've been on a path for a while, and right now you've been reflecting on that, and now in the present you're doubting it, and you're looking at all the various ways into the future and saying, which path should I take? Should I stay on the path I've been on? Should I continue? Or should I choose a new direction and a new outcome and start working towards that? So the advice that this card has for you is saying, what is the desire that's in your heart? Because when you apply your will to accomplish that, then you are existing within purpose. So if the desire in your heart is aligned with what you've been doing up until this point, then yes, you are on the right path and you should continue on that way. If it's not, then choose an outcome that is aligned with that desire, and then choose a course of action to get there that's also aligned with that desire. And identify what is important to that outcome, what you'll need to be doing in an order of importance and priority, and then work on those things in that order. And yeah, by doing that, you're putting one foot in front of the other, and you will get to your outcome. Your future interval is the Ten of Cups. And so the Ten of Cups, it talks about, it's what's opening up for you. It's what's like right in front of you in the next couple of days, weeks, and the next month. It is completion in your emotional being. So whatever it was that you were trying to manifest, basically all the seeds you planted, they're coming full circle. They're grown into their maturity, and you'll be receiving the harvest, and that'll create a full expression of your emotion. You will feel satisfied in your emotional being. Whether that looks like continuing on your current path, if that's aligned with your desire, or choosing a new one, if that's aligned with your desire. If you're doing something that's authentic and aligned with who you are and what your heart truly desires, then you will find this emotional satiety. Whether you actually succeed or whether you fail, you will still find that emotional satiety, knowing that you stepped in alignment with who you are truly, and so you won't have any regrets. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So thank you for joining me. Random person, please like and subscribe, and yeah, I hope that I'll be seeing you again. Next in the queue is Sahu. So Sahu, please let me know if you're still here. And then I want to say welcome to NeoNip on Twitch. Thank you for joining me today. To join the queue, you type #tarot along with your question, and that'll get you into the queue automatically. And then welcome to Amanda Hyde on Facebook, and the same thing. Just type #tarot with your question, or #tarot general, and that'll add you to the queue. And then welcome Chantal, same thing to you. Please type #tarot with your question if you'd like to join that queue for a free reading. And Stephanie, want to say welcome to Stephanie Joshua Brown. Thank you for joining me today. It's always great to see all these new names and new faces in the stream. Stephanie says, can I have a reading please? Really need one. So Stephanie, to join that queue, you just ask your question. Type #tarot with your question, and that'll get you into the queue. Amanda Hyde is looking for general. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. You are in the queue. So I see that Sahu has left. This is normal. Sahu always joins, asks a question, and then leaves. Rajni does the same thing. There's certain people who do it. They come in, type their question, and then leave, and don't come back. So after Sahu was Mary Heaven. So, Sorav, you are in the queue, and there are a lot of requests in the queue, so please have patience, Sorav. But Mary Heaven is up next. So Mary Heaven asking, will I find romance? And Mary Heaven, please let me know if you are still here. Salam, alaikum salam to Rajani, who has joined us on Facebook, and Mary has said she is here. What advice does the universe have for Mary regarding romance and her love life? So, Mary, your past interval card here is the Nine of Swords. This card, it is talking about your purpose. It talks about reflecting on your purpose. So a note on purpose is that it's not something that's given to you. Purpose is something you choose. You identify what your heart desires truly, and then you take action to accomplish it, and that is purpose. The course of action that you choose in order to accomplish your heart's desire is purpose. So this card, it talks about you reflecting on what you understood your purpose to be. Reflecting on the course of action that you took based on what you believed your purpose was, or what the purpose that you set for yourself was. So the purpose of this self-reflection regarding purpose and goals is in order to take responsibility for your mistakes and your successes. So the areas where you've made mistakes and it resulted in self-sabotage, or it brought you away from accomplishing your purpose, taking responsibility for it so that you don't repeat those mistakes. So in regards to your love life, you might have identified that your purpose is to be someone's partner. It is to be married and to love and to receive love in return. So then you take action in order to accomplish that, and certain things happen along the way that you stumble. We're all human, we make mistakes, and it sabotages that outcome. So acknowledging that, reflecting on that, taking responsibility for your mistakes, and at the same time acknowledging where you did well and the methods for success, the way that you applied yourself that resulted in success and brought you closer to your outcome. Taking responsibility for that as well, so you can reapply those methods for success in the future. Taking responsibility for your mess ups so that you can avoid those same mess ups again in the future. And that's past interval, so it's things that you have been doing. It's not something that's going on right now. It's coming to a close right now. In fact, this period of self-reflection is now coming to a close. Present interval is the Five of Swords. So in the present, based on all the things that you've discovered about yourself during this period of self-reflection, you're now applying all of that experience. You're applying it towards your outcome. Again, we're looking at swords, which is about purpose, and this time it's 5. So 5 is to do with applying yourself towards your outcome. So you're applying yourself towards the purpose that you've set, and as we identified, that is to be loved and to love authentically and to be in a healthy and supportive relationship. So you're applying the experiences you have and the knowledge that you have in order to reach that outcome. So this card is just saying to you, stick to that and take small steps. The card is the right way around. So it's saying that the technology that you're using, the means that you're using to communicate with people in your life, so yeah, there are face-to-face communications, and that's perfect, that's ideal, but there are also digital communications that are going on with the people that are in your life. And the means that you've been using, the technology that you're using is the right technology. Don't look for more technology. Don't look for more platforms. Use what you currently have. Don't start looking at new dating sites or whatever. Use what you have been using. Don't try and expand on that. That's what the advice this card has. And then this card has a little bit more advice. It's saying, so you have certain goals regarding your personal development, evolving yourself, becoming a better version of yourself. Focus on that as well. So as much as you're communicating with people, also focus on your own development, because when you're focusing on your own development, you're going to attract people who are also focusing on their own development. And among those people that you attract into your life, there will be certain individuals among them that you form deep connections with, and out of those people is where you will find the correct match, the true match for yourself, the person who you become intimate with and form a romantic relationship with. So future interval is the 3 of Cups. This card is saying it's what's opening up for you, so it's what's going to be happening in the next few days, 2 weeks, and basically 3 is about becoming aware, and Cups is regarding emotions. So you're going to become aware of the emotional state of being you would ideally like to exist in. That is freedom from fear, freedom from shame, etc. You want to be free of those things, free of self-pity, free of resentments and frustrations, free of delusions. You want to exist in that healthy, wholesome state of emotions. So you're going to be becoming aware of what exactly you want to, who exactly you want to be in your emotional being, what kind of emotional support you want to be giving and want to be receiving, and at the same time you're also going to be becoming aware of what will be required of you in order to accomplish that, what kind of changes you'll have to make to your lifestyle and to your relationships, and how you have been giving of your emotional cup and receiving, what kind of changes need to happen in order to see you realized into that fulfillment. And that fulfillment it comes in the self. You find fulfillment within yourself, not from an outside source. So even though you are, as you're working on your own self-development and you're working on making these shifts into the emotional state of being you want to exist in and the emotional fulfillment you desire, you're going to attract people who are also doing that. So trying to find emotional fulfillment from an outside source will attract people who want to do that. Energy vampires, essentially. If you're an energy vampire, you will attract energy vampires. So this is just a warning. It's saying focus on your self-development. When you become aware of who it is you want to be in your emotional being and what's required of you, make the effort to shift it, because that will bring in the people that are right for you. That will attract the people that are right for you. And that's the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much. Please like this video and share it. And please feel free to follow me so you get updates in the future. Okay, so next up we have Rajani. And after Rajani is Shavi. So Rajani, let me know if you're still here. I have no doubt that you are, but please confirm. Thank you, Jelena, for helping bring clarity to the stream and the chat. Much appreciated. And then welcome Saurav Agarwal on YouTube, asking for a future reading. Okay, Rajani says he is still here. Amazing. The sun is starting to bother me. I'm getting really hot and flustered here. Amanda Hyde, you are in fact in the queue, but I'm not sure how far down you are. There is still 48 minutes on the clock, so there should be plenty of time for you to get your reading. You can skip the queue with a $5 tip if you are in a hurry and need to be somewhere. Can I please adjust my volume? Is it too low? Is it too high? What's going on? Bring that closer. I can speak louder. You can also increase the volume on your cell phone. Okay. What advice does the universe have for Rajani regarding the opening of his or her new coaching class? Thanks, Saurav. Saurav on Facebook is complimenting my voice. So, Rajani, your past interval is the Queen of Cups. So this card is saying that in the past, you have been seeing your own reflection in other people. This is just something to be aware of. In your past business ventures, when interacting with people or when people have tried to give you advice, certain things that they said and did, they triggered emotional responses, and this card wants to make you aware that those responses were your own responsibility. It had nothing to do with the other person. You were seeing your own reflection in them, the things that you didn't like about yourself, and the things that you did like about yourself you were seeing in them, not actually them. Just something to be aware of. Present interval is the Seven of Swords reversed. So this card is saying that in the present you might have your priorities a little mixed up. So this card wants to say to you, just check your priority list. According to these classes that you're opening, what is most important for you to be working on to ensure the success of that business? Because right now you're avoiding the things that are actually important and working on things that are less important, and that is not good for your outcome. So it might not destroy your business venture, but it could really do more. You could do more with it if you had your priorities in the correct order and you were focusing on the things that are actually most important. Worrying about aesthetic things and all of that secondary after the most important things are taken care of. What else is that card saying? It's also saying that you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed in the present about everything that needs to get done, and that is why you are neglecting the important things and focusing on less important things because of the overwhelm. So the other piece of advice that card has for you is that you don't have to figure everything out right away. Just put one foot in front of the other on this path towards your outcome, your success in your career, and as you go, you can figure this stuff out and you can accomplish. Just work on the most important priorities and realize that you don't have to figure it all out right away. Every time that you host a class, you will learn and you'll be able to do the next one better. And I feel that way in my own practice. Like, I gave a medium session the other day to Jelena, who's in the chat, and in hindsight I looked at it and I was like, what I was hearing from the spirit that was invoked was mostly moans, and it was distant, far away, and I was thinking, how can I bring that closer? And I was like, what I can actually do is I can bring something that's dead, like a dead rat, to make as an offering. That'll bring me closer to the frequency of death. If I had a snake skin and other symbols of the angel of death, that would also bring me closer to the death frequency. It would make that gateway more clear. Every time that we give a service, so every time we provide the service, we can learn from that and know what to do better in the next one. Future interval is the 4 of discs. So this is some advice. It's a key on how you can unlock that success that you're looking for. And basically, it's again talking about priorities and routine. So it's saying set a routine for yourself, set a structure of daily constructive activities, productive activities that will bring you towards your outcome, and work on that to-do list in the order of what's most important to your outcome. Exist within your own authority. Apply the authority that you have in yourself over your physical environment. And the other piece of advice this card has for you is be flexible with unforeseen circumstances and unforeseen events that come up. They might seem to get in the way of your to-do list and your priorities, and so when that happens, be flexible. So deal with the unforeseen event and then identify on your to-do list what was most important today and move that ahead or before. Just fit it in with the schedule. Don't worry about the things that were less important. Focus on the thing that was important, and as long as you're ticking off that most important responsibility for the day, you are still making progress towards your goal. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much for your support and your viewage and the like and the share. Much appreciated. Stephanie says, "You are beautiful inside out." Thank you so much. Thank you for your recognition and your compliment. And welcome to Life on YouTube, saying, "Will I become a K-pop singer?" And welcome Navneet Kaur. "Future spouse, financial conditions as compared to my family." Naveed wants to know about future spouse and their financial situation. Thank you for your question, Naveed. I'll add you to the queue. So next in the queue is Shavi Orplish on Facebook, saying, "Can you check how the rest of February will be for me and Prashant or Aurora got engaged recently?" So Shavi, please let me know if you're still here. You're up next for a reading. Okay, amazing. Thank you. And Shavi says, "Your voice is so comforting and full of positivity. Thank you for your recognition." As I'm checking this chat, Saurav, your question is afterwards, so you are next. We have Shavi and then Saurav. That's the order that I'm seeing on my end. What does the rest of February look like for Shavi and Prashant? And Saurav, I want to confirm that I was talking to Saurav Sain, not Saurav Agarwal. Saurav Agarwal is still further down in the queue. Saurav Sain is next after Shavi. Saurav Agarwal is on YouTube. Saurav Sain is on Facebook. Okay, so Shavi, this card, number 7 of the trumps in the position of your past, it talks about you guys, it talks about your engagement, where you collectively looked at the future, you identified what your outcome looks like in your relationship, what kind of relationship you guys are building, what kind of life you guys will have together. You identified that together, and you started taking action to make that reality true. The first step was getting engaged. Next step was planning for a wedding. Introducing to family if that hasn't already happened, etc. And so this card, it wants to say to you, the advice it has is just stay on whatever road you've chosen. Don't go back to the starting point. Whatever plans you make, whatever actions you take, they will all be towards your current outcome. If you go back and change your outcome, then you're basically backtracking. You will have to start from scratch. Present interval is the Fool reversed. Number 0 doesn't have a number. So in the present, you feel like you're taking a leap of faith into the unknown, like you're starting a whole new journey. And there's a lot of fear and anxiety that's like biting into you, but you're still looking ahead and you're still jumping and leaping ahead regardless of that fear. Excuse me, I'm getting some kind of interference. My ear was ringing. Felt like there was a lot of pressure in the atmosphere. So in this new stage, in this new karmic journey that you've started, there is the potential for much abundance and growth. So you will be going through the first roundabout, the first cycle in February. There will be many roundabouts where you'll feel like you're back at the starting point where you had been, and then you'll go full circle. But each time that you get back to the starting point, you will be able to see how much you've gained in that last cycle. Even though it might feel like you're back at the starting point, you still will have gained knowledge, experience, and growth in that cycle. And there will be many of these cycles, but the first one is here in February. The card is reversed, and that implies that there might be some disappointment, that not everything that you're hoping for and not everything that you are planning for will turn out the way you visualized. And just to be aware of it. Future interval is a 9 of Swords. So another thing to focus on throughout February is self-reflection. So you have this idea of your outcomes. So we've been seeing a lot about outcomes here, marriage, but more than just marriage, what are you trying to manifest for you personally in your life? Like, what kind of career are you looking to be in. Even if that looks like staying at home and supporting a family, what does it look like? And then reflecting on the past, reflecting on the actions you've taken towards that in the past, so that you can identify where you made fuck-ups, basically, towards your outcome, and where you made successes, where you did things that were constructive, that really brought you into alignment with your purpose, your goals, brought you close to them. And doing this self-reflection so that you can identify how you can apply it within the marriage, within the relationship, and within the marriage. How you can be flexible and bring your own personal purpose, your own personal goals into the relationship, and allow them to work and coincide with your husband's, your partner's goals and outcomes. How you can allow your goals and your mission to support his goals and his mission, and vice versa. Taking responsibility for your mistakes and your successes so that you can apply them, so that you can avoid repeating mistakes, and you can apply your past experiences that brought you to success in the marriage, and you can help him find success within his purpose by giving him that piece of the puzzle that you discovered while you were working on your own purpose, own goals. So that's what your February looks like. You're going to be going through your first cycle, so any seeds that you've been planting these last couple of months, the last month and the beginning of this month, any intentions you've been setting, you're going to see the first cycle of completion within those intentions. Anything you put out, you're going to see it come back, whether that's financial or emotional or whatever it might be. You'll see the returns on it. And some advice the cards have for you regarding February is to do this self-reflection. Take these next couple weeks of February to reflect on your past and how you can apply your successes within the marriage, and how you can avoid making past mistakes within the marriage. How you can integrate and be flexible with your own purpose and your own goals within the marriage and collectively with your partner. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much for joining. I will encourage you to follow me and like this video and share it. So thank you very much for joining me today. And then next up is Sort of Sign on Facebook for a future reading. Sort of Sign, we're waiting for you to confirm that you are still here. Amazing, thank you. Yes, Sahu, you did miss your turn, as usual. I don't know where it is that you go to. So I want to give a little note on the future. Sort of. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that you claim for yourself. So whatever you can see in your mind, you have the possibility to manifest it. So choose your outcome, like identify what it is you want, and then start reaching for it, because we don't wait for the future to arrive. Instead, we only know the present. We can't know the future. We don't know the past. We only have memory. We only have the present. So what we do is we visualize what we want the future to look like, and then slowly we transform our present reality to look like that vision we had of the future. How can Sora of Sign manifest and create the future of her dreams? Okay, so your past interval is the Two of Cups reversed. So this card talks about how you've recently had opportunity for emotional fulfillment. There was recently opportunity for a relationship, but you didn't commit to this potential. So you tried to reach for it, you saw it there, and you were like, yes, that's what I want. I want to be emotionally fulfilled. I want to love myself, and I want to be in a healthy relationship. And you reached for it, and then you didn't commit to it, so it passed you by. This kind of potential, when it's presented, the two, energy of two, it's like a seed. You plant it, and then you have to water it, and you have to nourish it, and you have to shield it from weather. You have to make sure it grows, or otherwise it dies. And so that's what happened here. It died because you neglected the seed. You planted it, but then neglected to water it, and neglected to nourish it, and neglected to commit to it. And this card is only showing up so that you can, in the future, when you are presented with opportunity, you can seize it and you can commit to it so that it grows into its fullness. Your present interval is number 19 of the trumps. It is called the Sun. It's also reversed. So this card, in the present, it is talking about inauthenticity. It's saying that what you're doing in the present is people pleasing. First of all, you're going out of your way to make sure others like you. More than that, you're also doing things you don't enjoy. So whatever it is that you're doing to secure yourself and bring abundance into your life, it's not something you resonate with. It's not something you enjoy, and it's draining your cup. Your cup is getting empty. You're running out of energy because of it. You're trying to give deliberately of your energy, trying to be someone that you're not for the sake of your security, for the sake of recognition and what's the other word? Validation from the people in your life. And that's the Sun energy reversed. So what this card wants to say to you is that you are the source of energy in your life, and it is not healthy for you to drain that energy, to deplete that energy, to give that energy deliberately. You drain yourself, and once you're drained, then your environment and the people in your life lose their potential for abundance. Like the sun gives our planet its potential to give us life. It gives the light from the sun gives the planet its potential to grow things and support human life. And the sun isn't deliberately trying to give us that energy. The sun is just existing authentically as who she is, and as a side effect, our planet receives its potential. So you are like that in your life, and the most intuitive and healthy way for you to live is authentically. If you hate doing something, don't do it. Don't go out of your way to please people. Don't put on a face for the sake of others. You can give yourself validation. You can give yourself recognition. That's all that actually matters. You don't need that from anyone besides yourself and your own spirit. And then, whatever it is that you do to secure yourself should be something that you enjoy doing, something that's authentic to your being, something that's aligned with your heart's true desire. And when you're doing that and you're existing authentically, then you will find that the people in your life find inspiration when they witness you. You become an example for them to follow, someone that they admire. And more than that, the projects that you work on, that you enjoy doing, they suddenly have the potential to bring financial wealth and abundance and security into your life, just as a byproduct of you being authentic. So a lot of people say you can't get anywhere in life if you're not doing things you don't enjoy. That's entirely counterintuitive and a load of hogwash. It's a load of bullshit. The most intuitive and the best way to accomplish your dreams and to move into the future that you dream to move into is to exist authentically, according to who you are authentically in your heart. Here's your future interval. This is what's about to open up for you, and it is number 16 of the trumps reversed. It is the Tower. So this talks about great emotional injury. The environment is going to make you aware of your limitations. It's going to make you aware of your insecurities, the things that you've believed about yourself that are not true, the things that you believed about yourself and what you're capable of that are not true. Suddenly the universe, what's about to open up for you is the universe dumping situations and people into your life that will give you no choice but to acknowledge the things that you've believed about yourself and your reality and your capabilities that are not true. And that is going to be difficult. It's going to completely deconstruct your identity, because all of these things that you believed about yourself, your identity has become built around them. And now we all have things we believe about our environment, about reality, about ourselves, and what we're capable of that are not true. And it's only by either self-reflecting and acknowledging those insecurities and integrating them and accepting them that we can overcome them, or the environment, the universe starts giving us situations and people who challenge us, who challenge that identity and say, okay, you believe you're capable of this, now do it, prove it. And then we try and we fail, and that is very painful to the ego. It's very painful to the identity, and that is unfortunately what is about to come up. Events and people who are going to challenge you within the things that you believe about yourself, and you're going to discover the things that you believed that were not true. And so then the card wants to say to you, it's very important that you acknowledge and accept those insecurities, so that you can start founding your identity on solid truths about yourself and what you are capable of. Things that are absolutely true based on your experiences, not based on stories you tell yourself in your mind. You can justify, you can start blaming people and the environment and say, yeah, it's because of that that I failed, that I wasn't able to accomplish what I said I was capable of. But that will just lead to the same thing happening. More events and more people coming to create the same kind of pain. You can save yourself a lot of pain by just acknowledging and accepting the reality of your insecurities and starting to base your identity on truths, solid truths, building your identity around true things about yourself. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So yes, it is a lot to take in. It is probably not what you would have liked to hear, but sometimes that hard smack from the spirits is what we need to get ourselves in order and get our shit together. So sending you strength and endurance and grace as you go through this, as you turn these cards the right way around, as you turn that Two of Cups card the right way around and start committing to the potential that you are presented with. You turn that Sun card around and start existing authentically and not putting yourself out of your way for people anymore. Turning that Tower card around and starting to acknowledge your own insecurities of your own accord and integrating them and finding things about yourself that are true, even if they're small and insignificant, to build your identity around those things in humility, so that you can avoid unnecessary pain when the universe presents you with things that would have otherwise made you aware of those things. And please like and follow and share, and thank you very much. Next in the queue is Jelena Rajsik. I hope I'm saying that right. And you're welcome, Sorav. I hope that I'll be seeing you again soon. And I look forward to hearing about all the growth that you have experienced as a result. Thank you very much, Stephanie, for sharing me to all of your tarot groups. Next in line is Jelena. And then Navreet is asking me, will my turn come? I don't know. I don't know if your turn will come, Navreet. Our timer is starting to get low at this point, isn't it? 20 minutes on the clock. When that timer reaches 0, then free readings are finished for the day. And all readings from there on out are gratuity based or donation based, with a $3 tip being the minimum. How does Jelina's ex feel about her in this present? In his present? Nine of Discs is the past interval. So this card is saying that he has been reflecting in the last couple of days, probably since we cast your spell, Jelina. He has been reflecting on your relationship. He's been looking at the relationship and noticing where he was at fault, taking responsibility for himself, to himself, just admitting to himself where he was at fault, admitting to himself where he was in the right as well. He's just been reflecting and thinking a lot about your relationship, and he's also been noticing that you have been doing the same, that you have been willing and able to take responsibility for your mistakes and for your successes, and that has been really encouraging for him to see. In the present interval, we have a 4 of Discs reversed. So this card, it's talking about mismatched priorities on behalf of both of you. So he's saying that you have a tendency to focus on things that are less important and neglect things that are important. But he's also acknowledging in himself that that's something he's been doing recently as well. Like, he's been focusing so much on his physical stuff, on like physical career and physical finances, and neglecting the things that are more important than that. So he's looking at you and he's saying you don't put enough importance on the work that I do and how important finances are. And for himself, he's acknowledging, yes, he has placed these things above other priorities like relationship and family and spiritual growth. He's placed the importance of finances above those things, and he's realized that that's not the correct order of priority. Spirit should come first. The soul and the spirit should come before finances. Family should become before finances and money and work. But he, at the same time, he's saying, yeah, maybe I've had my priorities mismatched, but you also have your priorities mismatched. You don't acknowledge, you have a better understanding of what should come ahead of finances, but you've got finances too low, and that's what's going through his mind. He's like, yes, I've had it too high, but you've had it too low. We both need to bring it up a little bit. I need to bring mine down, put it underneath family and spirit, and you need to bring it up and put it above whatever it is that he feels you need to put it above. Future interval is the Prince of Discs. So this talks about him facing challenges regarding your relationship. So there's certain things about your past and where you've come from and where you are currently that he's been, like, it comes up in his mind and he doesn't want to face it. Like a feeling comes up, he feels depressed or miserable or lonely, and then he pushes it aside, saying, no, I'll just focus on my career. I'll just channel all of that into career and use it to distract me. But now he's reaching a point where he can no longer distract himself, and so those feelings and those thoughts, he's now saying, okay, I need to face them. It's time to face those feelings and make a decision on what I'm going to do about them and integrate them and communicate them. And so that's what's about to open up for him. It's also something that's opening up for you. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So basically this spread is saying that the effects of our spell, they're having an effect on him. They're having an effect on reality. As we speak, as the days go by, things are changing in his mind. Things are changing in your mind. And reality is shifting. It's changing into alignment with the desire that we wrote and charged. Amanda Hyde is next in the queue. You're welcome, Jelena, and thank you for joining me. I really appreciate all of the readings that I give. I appreciate the opportunity to give the readings and share the wisdom that is shared with me. That's why I do this, because energy has to flow, and I can't hoard it all to myself. I can't hold all of this value for myself. It'll disappear. It'll have no impact on reality if I'm keeping it all to myself. I've got to allow that river of energy to flow. And this is the most direct means to allow that. Role model is asking, if I donate, do I go next? Yes, that's how it works. $5 tip will skip the queue and put you next in line. Amanda Hyde, last call for Amanda Hyde. And then we have a Chantel Doherty on Facebook. Chantel on Facebook. Last call for Chantel. Okay, next is, I got a little bit lost in the queue, but next is Stephanie Joshua Brown. Cyrus Shees, thank you for joining the queue. Although there are more requests in the queue than I'm going to be able to fulfill, when this timer reaches 0, that is the end of my free reading offerings. I stop giving away free readings when the timer reaches 0. Next in line is Stephanie Joshua Brown. Amazing, you are still here. What general advice does the universe have for Stephanie? Six of Discs reversed. So this card is saying to me that recently you had a little bit of a falling out in a relationship recently, and that doesn't necessarily mean your romantic relationship, and it wasn't really a falling out. Basically, they just said some things, and their example made you aware of how you could be doing more, made you aware of your limitations, made you aware of things, how you've been trying to accomplish something but had lacking knowledge or lacking technology. So it was a little bit difficult to acknowledge that and become aware that you could have been doing better, or that what you were trying to reach for wasn't possible with your current knowledge or current technology. But at the same time, once you became aware of that, you were in a better position to overcome that limitation. You were able to educate yourself if you needed to, or you were able to get access to new resources from various relationships, from people that you know, in order to overcome the limitations that you were facing. Present interval is the 8 of Cups. So in the present, you have noticed that there has been an imbalance between how much emotional support you receive and how much emotional support you give out, And so, yeah, you feel like some of your cups are being left empty, like some of your cups are running dry, your emotional cups. So you're identifying what you can change, what shifts need to happen in order to recover your balance. What needs to change in your relationships, what kind of people need to be blocked or cut out, what kind of boundaries need to be set in order to re-establish balance between how much emotional support you receive, how much emotional value comes in, and how much goes out. Also looking at how you've been giving out, like in not only certain people taking, but also you going out of your way to give, because you are hoping that by giving you will receive. So just making an acknowledgement of that and saying, okay, I need to do that less. I need to rather support the people that mean something to me, that are close to me, and not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes into my sphere needing emotional support. I need to reserve my cups and make sure that my cups are still full and there's still balance. And yeah, that's basically what's going on in the present. Future interval is number 9 of the trumps. It is called the Hermit. So this is what is about to open up for you. It's a period of self-reflection, and it's the final period before manifestation of everything that you've set in motion. 9 comes before 10. 10 is completion. So this self-reflective period that's opening up for you is the final stage, and then all the intentions that you've set, whether they were positive intentions or negative intentions, there will be a bit of both, there's always a bit of both, will come full circle, and you will see all the returns on all the efforts that you've made. But this period of self-reflection, what it will look like is isolation. You will self-isolate, and that's not physical isolation, like shutting yourself up at home and not going anywhere. I mean, it could be, but that's not really what it's talking about. It's talking about emotional and mental isolation. So both you and your partner are going to go into this period of like hermiting, where you isolate yourself from the other, even though you're living in the same place, walking past each other, staying in your own little universe. And this is healthy. This period of self-reflection will be healthy for both of you, so that you can look back on recent experiences and this little falling out, and take responsibility. Acknowledge yourself, acknowledge where you were at fault, acknowledge where you blamed him for things that were actually your own doing, and acknowledging yourself where you did things that were constructive and healthy and brought progress. Not only acknowledging your shortcomings, but also acknowledging your successes and your breakthroughs. And this period it's important, it's healthy, in that once you can acknowledge yourself and take responsibility for yourself, you can avoid repeating your mistakes, and you can reapply your methods for success. You can reapply your successful breakthroughs and positive constructions. So yeah, that's what's opening up, and just be aware that this period of self-reflection is the final stage. Once you come out of that isolation, that hermitage, and you communicate with your partner again, and you guys reconnect, you will find yourself in the completion of everything you've been trying to, all the things that you've been dedicating your effort to in the relationship and outside of the relationship. All of it will come into fruition once this period of isolation closes. And that is the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much for joining me today. I will encourage you to follow me, so you can get notifications on Sunday when I do this again, and then Monday I cast spells for free, and Wednesdays I typically do healing, but this past Wednesday I didn't. I put something else in its place. But hopefully next Wednesday we can do the healing again. And yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure that my timer is closed by now, but I'm going to just check. No, there's 5 minutes still on the clock. Thank you for the follow. Saurav Agarwal, if you are here, I will give you the last free reading of the day. Saurav Agarwal on YouTube. I'm just going to name all the names in the queue, and the first one to reply will get the last reading. So after Saurabh Agarwal is Life on YouTube, Navreet Kaur on YouTube, Sirashez on Facebook, oh, Navreet is here. Okay, cool. So Navreet can get the last reading of the day, last free reading. I'm happy to stick around as long as you guys are happy to tip me, you know, send a tip, little donation. And I'll stick around as long as you guys are tipping. But anyway, Navreet Kaur is getting the last free reading of the day. Future spouse financial conditions as compared to family. What is the financial situation of Navneet's future marriage? Past interval here, Navneet is the Princess of Swords. So this card, it talks about feeling hopeless, like you feel like ruin and poverty has been approaching. It's getting closer, like a burning building, and you're in the building. Your life and your current situation is the building, and poverty and ruin is the fire, and the house is on fire, and you keep going higher up in the house to escape the fire. And eventually you reach the top of the building and you feel like there's nowhere left to go, and the ruin and the poverty is still burning the house down. But this is something that's coming to a close, this feeling of hopelessness. The advice this card has for you is that creativity exists within you. More than that, it's also saying that you've been saying the only hope is to marry someone who is financially secure, but that's not necessarily true. You can apply your own creativity in order to secure yourself and to escape that ruin that's approaching the house. Your creativity can give you wings so you can fly off of that roof of that burning building. And more than that, even if you get into a relationship that is not as financially abundant as you would hope, you can work together with your partner in order to improve that financial situation and ever evolve. And it doesn't have to be one stagnant financial state of being. Like my parents are the perfect example of that. They were quite poor when it all started out. My mother came from quite a wealthy background, but my father did not. He was poor, from a poor background, and they were poor as a couple and in their marriage. But slowly that changed and evolved, and both of them, through their work and working together and supporting one another, their financial situation improved steadily over the years. It got better and better and better until we actually lived quite a life of luxury right before I finished school. So yeah, present interval is number 17 of the trumps. It is reversed. So this card is saying, it's talking about reacting to emotions. It's talking about allowing emotions to sabotage your priorities, to sabotage your responsibilities. It's talking a lot about overwhelm, feeling overwhelmed by how much responsibility you have on your plate and all the decisions that have to be made and all the things that need to get done. And all of that emotional experience then leading you to not do anything, not make any decisions, and neglect your responsibilities, your priorities, and start working on things that are not actually that important, as a way to distract yourself from all of this emotional influx. So this card has some advice. It says, first of all, identify what you want, and in this case it's this financial freedom. It's to escape the financial ruin. So that's what you want. Now see what you can actually do to put one foot in front of the other and move towards that freedom. And then you can identify what kind of responsibility that brings. So if you identify what you're trying to work towards, this freedom, it comes with certain responsibilities and certain tasks that need to be fulfilled. So you'll want to identify what is most important to that outcome. What responsibilities are most important on that to-do list? Among those lists of things that you have to do, what's most important? So work on it in the order of what's most important. And then regardless of what kind of emotion you're feeling, you do something creative that brings you closer to your outcome. If you react to a negative emotion like fear, that will sabotage your outcome. It'll take you away from financial freedom. It'll bury you deeper in financial ruin. If you react to difficult emotions, that's what'll happen. So when you feel difficult emotions, acknowledge them. Fear, shame, guilt, resentment, all of these things, feel them, say, yes, I feel them, and it's telling me to run away, it's telling me to do nothing, it's telling me to hide, it's telling me to do something spiteful. Don't. Choose instead to do something creative, something that is productive and brings you closer to the outcome that you're manifesting, that you're working towards, which is financial freedom. Future interval is the 5 of discs, and this is a warning. This is saying don't try and reach too far. So you have certain resources at your disposal that can push you towards your destination, that can push you towards financial freedom. You have certain knowledge that you can apply and services you can provide. You have certain experiences from your past that can help you, and you can apply all of those things. You should be applying all of those things. What's opening up for you is you applying all of those things. That's what your future is looking like. That's what your future marriage is looking like. It's looking like you applying all of your knowledge, all of your resources, and all of your experiences with your partner in order to grow in finances and evolve in finances. And so the warning that this card wants to give you is don't reach too far. Acknowledge the limitations on your knowledge, acknowledge the limitations on your skills and your resources, because if you try and accomplish something that's outside of what your resources and knowledge can take you, it's going to be like going one step forward, 2 steps back. You're going to stagnate, you're going to feel frustrated, you're going to feel like you're not going anywhere. So rather take smaller steps. That might also be frustrating, but as long as you're taking 1 step at a time, you're going to get to your outcome. You get closer with every step. You get closer to that financial freedom, to that wealth, to that abundance that you long for. Trying to look past the horizon, not a good idea. It's just going to frustrate you. It's just going to leave you stagnant. Rather look at what's in front of you and what you can work on, and then take 1 step at a time. Just 1 small baby step. Don't try and leap or run when you can barely walk. And that's the conclusion of your reading. So thank you very much for your patience and sticking around. And I'll encourage you to like and share. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can hit that notification button, and then you get updates when I go live. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody who joined me today, and for all the likes and all the shares and all the new follows and subscriptions. So much appreciation and thanks to you guys. Wishing all of you abundance and wealth in your endeavors, beyond measure, beyond your wildest dreams. So more to be. And I'll see you guys on Sunday for more tarot and divination.